Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you to my new subscribers and to those who have been subscribed for a while. I appreciate you. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I prepared for the IELTS, and I'm going to focus specifically on the listening and the speaking test today. So I'm going to give you some tips that I used when I was doing my test. So let's start with the listening. Now the IELTS listening test, there are 40 questions that you need to respond to, and you're given 30 minutes to respond to those questions, and at the end you're given 10 minutes to transfer your answer from the question paper to the answer sheet. So in total you'll be spending 40 minutes in the listening test. Now the first tip that I have for you is to practice. Did I say practice? Practice. Now even if you are a native English speaker, meaning English is your first language, do not take it for granted that, you know what, I know English so I can go and I will pass that test. No, it's important for you to practice because it's a particular format and it's a particular style, and there are certain traps that you need to be aware of, and so practice will help you to be aware of the traps and tricks that they use in the listening test. So I cannot overemphasize the importance of practicing, and there are a number of YouTube videos with practice exams. I'm going to link a few in the description box that I used, and you can practice so you will have an idea of the format and to see how well you're doing with your time, because timing is very important, because the speaker, sometimes the answers go by so quickly, and so by practicing the format, then you know how to pick up your answers and to be able to answer within the allotted time. The second tip is that as soon as the exam starts, you're given a few seconds at the beginning, so use those few seconds wisely. What I did, I read the questions in advance so that I would have an idea of what kind of answers to expect. So within a few sections, like they would say, okay, section 1 and so, and they're giving some instructions, and there are a few little seconds that you have. I went ahead and I read the question, and I tried to predict what answers could fit in with those questions. So reading ahead gives you an idea of what to listen for when the speaker is sharing and providing the answers. So it's good to read ahead. Now it's a listening test, but you really have to be focused. You cannot allow yourself to be distracted by anything, because as I said, the answers go by quickly. And can I tell you, the recording is only played once, no repeats. Meaning, if you've missed the answer, you just missed it. There's no way for you to recover that answer because it will not be repeated. No, if you have missed an answer, do not be hard on yourself. Do not stay and say, oh, and try to figure out, okay, so what's the answer? I missed it. No, because while you're there trying to think, oh, I missed that answer, the speaker is continuing, and chances are you're going to miss other answers if you do not move on. So if you know you've missed an answer, just move on and continue being focused, because you cannot afford to lose too many answers. Another tip is that when you're writing your answers, make sure that you write them clearly or legibly, so that when the paper is being marked, they can see your answer clearly. Now, spelling is very important. If you spell the word incorrectly, then you're going to lose a point for the question because the answer is going to be marked wrong. Grammar is also important. So if the answer is to be pluralized and you just wrote the answer in the singular form, then the answer is also going to be wrong. So you have to pay attention, listen carefully to the sentence structure and make sure that your answer is in alignment with grammatical rules and so on, because that's important when you're writing your answers. I would encourage you to write your answer in all caps, because to me it's clearer to see what you're writing. So I wrote my answers in all caps. Now, you know, when you're doing any form of assessment, it's important to read the instructions carefully, and it's the same for the listening test, because in some of the questions the instruction will say in no more than 2 words or in no more than 3 words. That indicates to you that you should not have more than 2 words for your answer if that's what the instruction says, and if it says no more than 3, you shouldn't have more than 3 words. For example, you may listen and the person would have said a hospital or a town nearby, and you're wondering, should I write a town or should I write a town nearby? The instruction will indicate to you if it's just the town. So if it's just town, it says 1 word. If it's a town, it says no more than 2 words. So pay attention to the instruction and follow the instruction. Another tip I have is you should use a pencil, because you know when you're trying to answer quickly, you may make mistakes, and so if you use a pencil, then at the end when you have the 10 minutes to transfer your answers, you can erase it and make the necessary corrections. So please use a pencil. At the end you're given 10 minutes to transfer your answers, but what I did, I didn't write on the question paper, I just wrote on the answer sheet, so that at the end I was just able to go back through and check spelling, check plural and singular and so on. So I wrote on the answer sheet and not the question paper. But you're allowed to write on the question paper in the listening, because you'll be given 10 minutes to transfer, but I didn't do that. How many of you like geography? Now, I don't like to read maps. Now, in the listening tests, sometimes you get a map or different diagrams. So it's important for you to know your cardinal points, your north, south, east and west, your north, south, west, east. And because they will give you direction, they would say, okay, so she went to the library, then she went to the car park, but they'll say go north from the library to the car park, go west from the library to the car park. You need to be able to follow the speaker to find your answer. So it's important for you to know how to read map and to just have an idea of where different things are located on the diagram, so that you can follow where the speaker is sharing. One trick that they use is sometimes the speaker will use a synonym to the word that is in on the paper. So it's good for you to listen for synonyms to the words that are in front of you on the paper, because you might be tricked if you're there looking for a particular word and the speaker uses the synonym for that particular word. So pay close attention to that. Another trick is to make sure that you really listen carefully, because sometimes an answer is said and then a repetition is made and the answer is changed. For example, the person may have said, okay, I will meet you at 8. And then the person may say, well, I'm not sure if 8 can work. Could we meet at 8:30? On second thought, let's meet at 8. So they go back and forth. So you have to listen carefully to make sure that you're writing on the correct answer. All right. So those are some of the tips that I have for listening. And as I said, I will list some videos that I used. I had to practice, and by using those videos, I was able to pass my listening with an 8.5 score. Now for the speaking test, it's about 10 to 15 minutes, and it has 3 parts. In the first part of the speaking test, the speaker will ask you to introduce yourself and just some general questions. Now, when you're asked to introduce yourself and when responding to the questions in general or doing the speaking, do not provide just a one word. You need to elaborate on your response. So you're told to introduce yourself. Do not just say, okay, my name is Natoya. No, my name is Natoya. I am originally from Jamaica. I lived here. I lived there. Jamaica is located within the Caribbean. Just elaborate on your answer to introduce yourself, okay? Also, while you're elaborating on your response, do not use a monotonous tone. So just speaking on one level. So use inflections and, oh, my name is Natoya. Just change your tone, vary your tone, so that your conversation is more interesting, I suppose. Yes, so that's important for the test, to elaborate on your answer. Tip number 2, use a variety of sentence types. So simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences, vary your sentence structure. It's also important to use transitional words like firstly, secondly, in addition to, so that the speaker can realize that you can use a variety of sentence structures in your responses. You are also marked for fluency. So if you talk and you're using a lot of buts and you're having long pauses, so pace yourself. Don't keep on doing what I just did. Right? Be fluent and speak confidently, smile, and just be interactive. I know it's an assessment and you may feel, oh, I'm being tested, I'm being marked, but just be friendly, just be confident. Let your confidence shine and try to connect with the assessor by giving eye contact and just be engaging with the assessor. In part of the speaking, you're given a task card. So you're given a card and there's a particular task on the card. So you're going to respond and you're going to write, just jot down pointers, and then you're given a few minutes to respond to what you have on the task card. So when you're responding to what you have on the task card, make sure that you speak for the duration of the 2 or 3 minutes that you're given. Do not just speak for 1 minute and stop. No, if you're given 2 minutes, speak for the entire 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Talk about something that happened in the past, then connect it to something that may be happening now and how that might even impact you in the future, just to continue to build on your speech and extending your vocabulary and your language. And then the last part of the speaking is where the assessor will ask you questions maybe about current issues or social issues, and you're asked to maybe give your position on something. So you can say, I agree with so and so because of so and so. So when you give an answer, give a reason why you are choosing that particular answer, and then just give some points to support your reason, right? So that would help you to develop your answer and to speak fluently. Also, make sure you pronounce your words clearly, because they listen for pronunciation as well. So those are just a few tips that I use, and when I did my speaking test, I got a 9. And 9 is the highest mark for the speaking test. So please elaborate on your answers. Remember, they're not testing what happened to you, if it's really true or not. I don't support lying, but in the same way that when you're in school and you're writing a story and you'll have to just make up a story because you want the teacher to see that you're able to use imagery and whatever other literary devices, it's the same thing. If they've asked you a question, you've never experienced it, just think of a situation and how you would respond in that situation, and just create a scenario, because they're testing you on your language ability. So you need to use language and express yourself so that they realize that, you know, okay, she can speak or he can speak. So those are my few tips. I hope you found them useful. If you have any questions, any suggestions for topics, you can put them down in the comment section, and I'm more than happy to respond. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. And in the next video or videos to come, I'll talk about the writing and the reading test. This was just listening and speaking and my few little tips. Bye for now.